And welcome back to Metropole Sports Center. My name is Nation Owano. As I had promised you in the first part of the show, I was going to be having Catherine Ndung'u, who's the marketing manager for White Cup Lager, to talk about the activity that is going to be taking place on the 17th of July. Catherine, thank you so much for finding time to come on Metropole Sports Center.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would want to understand why it was, I know the year 2020 has been tough for brands both locally and internationally. I just wanted to understand why you guys decided to partner with the Rhino Arc for this year's activity that is going to be taking place on the 17th of July.
So the reason we chose to sponsor with Rhino Charge for this specific year and moving forward into years to come is because of the strategic intent we have as KBL, where we want to really hammer the message of responsible drinking, especially around the space around motorsport. I mean, motorsport is one area where we know there's been a lot of association of responsible behavior, but it's time as KBL we change this narrative to show the impact of alcohol in a positive light, especially into the motorsport space. Okay. And I think this has been an ongoing campaign that we've done on responsible drinking. I think you have been able to see most of the campaigns that we've done before, especially Dunda Smart, Drink IQ, which we recently launched, and then you see like Friends Drink and Drive. So it's really towards the strategic intent that we really want to hammer this message of responsible drinking to our consumers. Okay. Yeah.
Normally when people are talking about alcohol, the first notion that comes to mind is careless behavior, people falling down, you know, irresponsible drinking, so to speak. So especially within the quarters of sports. So I think I would want to understand how you guys are trying to create a distinction between alcohol and responsible drinking and irresponsible drinking in the sporting quarters in the country.
First, we really want to educate and to impact the effects of alcohol when it comes to, especially when you're involving yourselves in the sports area and especially into the motorsport world, and to show that you can actually have fun while being responsible at the same time. Because it gets into a level where you overconsume, actually you end up not having fun, but even becoming a nuisance to the people you are around with. So where is the fun in that? However, you can still have fun very responsibly, and you can still be able to enjoy the sport or whichever passionate activity it is you're undertaking. So this is actually the intent. We really want to hammer this message on responsible drinking behavior, on responsible drinking, so that people know that for you to have fun, you really don't have to overindulge in alcohol.
Okay. Maybe for somebody who's been a fan of the Rhino Charge for the past couple of years, I think this year is going to be the 35th edition of the Rhino Charge. I just wanted to understand the extent of partnership between White Cup Lager and the Rhino Charge, and the extent of partnership that you guys have with the Rhino Charge, and the span within which that partnership is going to be within.
Okay, so White Cup as a brand is getting through as partners to Rhino Charge through the official sponsors, who are the Rhino Arc. And if you know about Rhino Arc, it's actually a charitable trust, an NGO, which really works towards protecting and safeguarding the ecosystem around Mount Kenya. So if you see the long-term intent for this activity is actually building a positive impact as we move forward into the future. White Cup as a brand has very strong heritage, and I mean, if you look at the KBAs for White Cup, which are the key brand assets, one of them actually is, you see Mount Kenya even on our label. We have been in existence since way back in 1950s, where we are driving consistent and positive conversations around it, and we're really looking forward to now how do we merge the two together and be able to cement that, because we are getting into the activity as the official responsible drinking partners. So how do we join forces together to drive this positive impact into our society? And also as KBL, from the KBL's direction, how do we also hammer through the lovers of the sport about responsible drinking around motorsport?
Okay. Yeah. But somebody will ask, why motorsport? I know we are coming at the backdrop of the whole Safari Rally the Safari Rally races in the country. But why was it important for you guys to get deeply into the whole motorsport world?
So one thing we know for sure, Kenyans have a soft spot for motorsport. And I think with the coming back of rally, it brought a lot of childhood memories of, I think the last time people remembered of rally was way back in their childhood memories. So, and at this point, we saw like 2 weeks ago, I think even Kenyans, we were more excited about the rally than even the drivers themselves, right? So that only goes to show how this sport really is accepted positively in the country. So it is a perfect platform for KBL to really hammer the message about now responsible drinking, change the stereotype where people believe that driving has to be associated with responsible behavior, or you cannot have fun if you're not high. So that's not the thing that actually happens. You can have fun, you can enjoy the sport without overindulging. And that is the message we really want to drive, so that because we are cognizant of the fact that people are have this association of irresponsible behavior outward. So it's how we are going to learn the message, to educate, to hammer the message, and to really let people know about responsible drinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Within the quarters of sports, both locally and internationally, there is usually the whole issue of nurturing young talents, coming up with a new crop of leaders. Because even if you're looking in our athletics lineup right now, there are people who have been there for the longest time. Maybe I would like to understand in terms of the brand and where the brand stands. Probably you can talk to us about some of the activities that the brand is taking part in to ensure that they support mentorship and the cropping up of new talents all over the country.
I think I'll give context in terms of a KBL front as we come around now towards centering into brands. If you look at KBL, for instance, we are actually very passionate about sports. And if you look at how we've actually even been mentoring people within the sports, we own a team, which is Tusker FC, which is like the leading team right now. I think everybody, if you got to watch the game yesterday, it was really a good game, and we've finally qualified for CAF. I think we are 4 points above, with KCB coming number 2. Yeah. So it's really something, and this team consists of young professionals. So we are using such to drive mentorship and to show people that there is future in sports. And if you look at the Olympics team going in, the Kenya team going for the Olympics, there are a lot of young players as well in the team. So it's just how are we elevating them so that they are also driving the message of like succession or future participation of young entrepreneurs or young sports, both men and women, into sports as we move into the years ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting you mentioned about the athletics, and this year you are the official partners of Team Kenya as they head into the Olympics. A component that maybe our viewers might not be aware of is a larger chunk of the Olympics team that will be jetting out of the country later on this month is largely composed of women or ladies as a squad. I wanted to understand, because the reality is the skills in the sporting world are naturally tipped in favor of the male counterparts, So I'd like to understand what you as a brand are trying to balance that scale or to even it out within a certain period of time.
So truthfully said, I think times are changing, and it's a high time we all realize that times are changing. For now, I don't think there's any element that we can say this is for male only or is for female only. And we see like even this team that's going to the Olympics right now, 56% are actually women. And as KBL, we've actually taken time. We had a stakeholder session with them where we were able also to empower them, to educate them on how do they market themselves, how do they brand themselves such that they leave a legacy for other people to follow, for other young ladies to follow. So it's an area we are really proud of, and even as a brand, I think we are now moving into, or we have been into, it's not like a male-dominated or a female-dominated, it's a we thing where we have both male and females. Through I think there's KBL's, one of KBL's key thing is actually inclusion and diversity, where we consider male and female and give them equal opportunities, regardless of the areas they are in, and sports is one. And even if you see now the external environment around sporting, I mean, if we are having a whole country taking 56% of the participants to Kenya, I mean, from Kenya to the Olympics, it's really a win for the country. And we are driving a narrative even beyond borders about that.
Okay. As somebody would like to understand, outside the Olympic team, are there any, activities or mentorship activities that you as a brand are involved in to churn out more talent for the next Olympics?
So yes, and this is actually through one of our flagship beers, which is actually Tusker, which is spearheading this activity when it comes to Olympics specifically. But as we go back now to looking at the motorsport arena, this is when our White Cup is coming into, and we are actually going to elevate even the drivers that will be participating into the motorsport space, whether it is through WRC, whether it is through the Kenya National Rally Championship, whether it's through the East African Rally, which is coming up in November. So it is just not going to be a partnership with the rally in totality, but it's also going to be a partnership with the drivers themselves, so that we elevate them, whether male or female, and we give them a space to make a name for themselves in the country and into the sporting arena.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe as we wrap up, Catherine, you as a brand are in a position where other brands can listen to you in terms of offering solutions. I wanted you to probably talk to other brands, or like put out a clarion message to relevant stakeholders in the sporting world out there. What do they need to help promote mentorship in the country, help promote women in sports in the country, so that we have a new crop of talents everywhere, and everybody is getting an equal chance in terms of participating in the sport?
Okay, so I think that other brands are actually starting to lift the weight in terms of seeing how we can get into different sports elements and how we can come in to support the different sports elements. I think we've seen, like, I think KCB is one also that is really doing very well at this. In partnership, I think we just ended WRC. We had very big organizations that came in part into play to sponsor to support both the event and both the drivers, so which is really a commendable thing. So I am requesting all the organizations out there to join in with the KBL intent to drive the message about the future of sports. It's a passion point for every Kenyan consumer out there. Whether you're a lover of football, whether you're a lover of golf or rugby or whichever game that's there, let's join together. Let's be able to build our teams, to build our young people so that they can engage further in sports. And once we collaborate together and we have this like-mindedness of driving responsible behavior towards these events or towards these sports, then for sure we are setting Kenya for our next for the best line when it comes to the next generation. Okay.
Final thing, Catherine, I want to give you this opportunity to send out a message to the Olympics team that is going to be representing us in this year's competition.
So we are with you. We are behind you. We are before you. We are waiting for you. But just by the fact that you've gone to Olympics, you've already won. For us, we are considering you as winners. You are taking the Kenyan flag to somewhere where I think it has not gone before. And for the women that are actually participating into the Olympics this year, we are proud of you. Continue setting the trend for our daughters, for our cousins, that they see you and they have belief in the future, that they can make it regardless of whether they are male or female. Even for our male participants out there, we are proud of you. Set the trends for others to follow. Plant the Kenyan flag high so that the global scenario is able to know that is Kenya, and Kenya has great players across all sports dynamics.
Okay. Thank you so much, Catherine, for finding time to come to Metropole Sports Center. Looking forward to having you once again. We talk about the Rhino Charge more and other activities that you guys are going to be part of.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Now, switching gears into the sports fact segment of the show, we are going to be shedding spotlight to the Wimbledon tournament that is currently ongoing and is set to be completed at the end of this week. Now, the following are just some of the interesting facts that you did not know about the Wimbledon tournament. Now, 54,250 tennis balls are used during the championships period. The second one is that the tournament commands a global news access audience estimated at more than 1 billion people in 200 territories. Apart from that, Wimbledon rule states that all players must be dressed almost entirely in whites. Umpires can ask a player to change if they do not meet the dress code. Also, Wimbledon has its own hawk called roofers, whose job is to scare away pigeons each morning from the tennis court. Explains why you can never see pigeons flying all over the court in terms of when the game is actually going on. Now, the other one is the longest ever Wimbledon match was at the 2010 tournament, where John Isner of the United States won against French player Nicolas Mahut. The match lasted a crazy 11 hours and 5 minutes and was played over 3 consecutive days. Those are some of the interesting things that you needed to know about the Wimbledon tournament. We do take a short commercial break. After the break, I'm going to be joined by our resident analyst, that is Ian Ketanyi, as we shed focus into the Euro tournament. You remember the finals are slated for this weekend, where England is going to be squaring it out with Italy. See you after the break.